Hi, I'm Talisa. It's day 2 from losing one of my pets. Anyways, forgive me for stumbling on my words, forgive me for choking up, possibly even losing it. This entire video will be about Harry and what had happened, how I'm coping. This will begin my healing and help anyone who might be going through a first-time grief. So that's what this is about. This is my first time grieving over anything, and I know people say write it down, which I have, or talk about it so I can close this chapter and move on. I've done a lot of crying, so I really don't want to cry anymore. All right, so I'm holding my little Harry. So Harry is a kitten. I will be putting little glimpses of his life, his very short life in between me talking, so you can get an idea and maybe understand how sad it is for me. I know it's not your cat. I know it's maybe just a cat to you, but to me, he was a lot of my firsts. Today is March 1st. Harry died 2 days ago on February 28th. He was named after Harry Potter. Okay, so I went to adopt a cat. I went to PetSmart to do some shopping for my Great Danes, and I came across this cat that was in the cage, and oh my god, it was so strikingly beautiful. The first initial couple days with Draco, my first cat in 10 years, he didn't really necessarily bond with me. I would call him over and he would hide under the bed, and I'd try to hold him and he'd let me hold him for a couple seconds and then he would leave. And he was such a cute cat. He still is. He's amazing. But I was like, okay, well, let's put you in Talisa's room because she really likes you. Initially, let her snuggle him and just kind of bonded with my daughter. So I felt a little betrayal. I know it's silly, but I was like, God, I really wanted a cat that would let me pick him up and love him. Mind you, I have 2 Great Danes that love me to death, so I'm not neglected, but I felt a little betrayed. 2 days after getting Draco, my daughter's father was working outside, and he was, getting rid of some of this wood that my dogs kept eating and choking on and just kind of helping me out with the outdoors. He texted me, look at this cat I found in the woodpile. And I was like, a kitten in the woodpile? I gotta go see. Mind you, when I moved here, there's kittens everywhere. I see kittens all the time, but I seen this specific cat who's black and white, kind of raggedy, and since I've moved in 2 years ago, she was the first cat that would sleep on my porch, and I kind of see her all the time. And so when I saw the kitten, I was like, oh my god, it looks like the cat that kind of comes around the house. Where's the mom? And he's like, the mom scurried away, the baby scurried away. He doesn't look like he's gonna make it. He looks a little slow, he looks sick. I come to the rescue, and I'll show you a little glimpse of that. So cute, I can show you to your sisters. It feels so good. Oh, she's looking at me. He is so sweet, mama. What? I got it. You got what? You got a cat? Found it outside. Another cat. And it's even smaller. But he's not vicious. He didn't try to attack me or nothing. Look at that. And when I popped it upside down to get the tick, he was just like, love me. Becoming a cat lady. Eventually he tries to run. He makes it like 2 steps and collapses. And I just scoop him up and he's hissing at me, but he's not really doing anything. And I'm just like, you are the cutest thing I have ever seen. And he just looked so pathetic. She just looked so pathetic. I thought it was a girl at first. I give her a bath and she is just covered in fleas. She doesn't move. I feel really bad for her. She was just weak. But she had a big belly, so it didn't make any sense. I just assumed she was sick or had some kind of disease or something. So the first day of having Harry, like I said, I thought it was a female, and I kind of named her Feral because she just kept hissing. She was like a feral. She was a feral cat. I got her outside. And I'm waiting to take her to the vet. So I make an appointment. They said call us in business hours on Monday. So I cleaned the baby up. I'm trying to bring her back to life because she is literally just weak. And finally I figured if you can use a syringe and put it on her mouth, she starts to eat it. It took about 12 hours. She was just kind of weak, like didn't do anything, didn't move. the next day I was like, okay, come on, come on, come on. So I get this little baby syringe, like a medicine syringe, and you squeeze it. And I squeezed little droplets in her mouth, and she was like, give it to me, give it to me. And I was like, okay, good. And then she perked up a little bit, and I'm like, this is a good sign. And it was already my baby. It was, it's a baby, you know. Right, she's perking up. She hasn't moved or sat up or anything since she's been here for 24 hours. I finally got her some kitty milk, and she had a few sips. She's feeling better. The reason I cannot have another cat. I just got a cat. He stayed living in my room for a good 4 weeks, I want to say. And say hello to another little friend I found yesterday. It was the second day I had it, kept crying, and I was just like, okay, it's still not too late to put him back, her back. And it's gonna be confusing with him and her. Again, remind you, I thought it was a female. It's gonna be, you know, it's not too late to put her back in the woodpile and her mom come back. You know, I just wanted to make sure it was okay. So I took her outside and I laid her down and I said, like right next to the woodpile. And I figured she'd smell, she'd remember. And she started walking towards the woodpile. And then she looked back at me. And I'm like, is that what you want to do? You want to go home? Go home. And she turned around and started walking towards the woodpile. And then she looked back at me. I don't think I ever would have actually let her go back. I think I was just going to scoop her up. But I just kind of, well, I was curious to see what she would do. And I said, okay, you want to go back? I'm sure your mom will come back for you. I turned around and I walk back towards the house. And then I can hear like a little pitter patter. And I turn around and she's just galloping right by my side. So I took that as a sign of, okay, you're mine. I scooped her up. It wasn't a few hours later that I saw her mom again with all the kittens outside. Saw like a bunch of kittens just gallop and the mom. And I was like, oh, Harry, you know, at the time I was like, oh, Feral. So I ran into the house, grabbed Feral, came back out, and I thought, it's only been a few hours, and if you're strong enough, you can go back with your pack, right? I showed him to his mother and I said, I got your baby. Do you want him back? Or want her back? And I put her down and I backed away. Mind you, this is day 2 after having Harry, AKA also known as Feral. And her mom just stared at me. Just stared at me. And I was like, do you want your baby back? I found the mom. She's just staring. And there's kittens all over. See if we can see anymore. I got your baby. So you did come from a litter. You're acting like you remember. Oh. Can you see? Hold him. See you. I can't see you. And so I back away and it's just looking at me. And all the kittens are just kind of looking from the woods. And they all kind of turn around and walk away. And she stared at me for a long time, stared at the baby for a long time, and then eventually she just walked away. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna take that as a sign that this one was the sick one, and you know you can't take care of it, and you know I'd do a better job. So I scoop up Feral, and I take her back, and I was like, that's it, keeping her. I took her into the appointment. Vet tech, she said, yep, it's a girl. And I was like, okay, cool. And then the vet came in and did his initial, yep, nope, it's a boy. Feral is a boy? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Got it checked up. They said, yep, he has some worms. More likely you're gonna see it in the vomit. And it's covered in flea poop. There's no flea on him. I was like, well, yeah, I gave him a bath 2 days ago. Got some of the fleas out. And he was like, all right, well, he looks like a healthy 5-week-old baby to me. Congratulations, and here's your kitten. Come back in a few weeks for the shots. And then a couple months later, we would like to get him all snip. So yeah, already paid the bill on day 3, took him home. Hey everyone, we got a new cat, and it's great because now Draco has a friend and they can grow up together. Oh, good job. I love you, you're so freaking cute. I can't stand it, I can't stand it. Stop, I'm gonna end up stepping on you. do you think?
I love him. He's so cute. He's my other brother.
You got 2 little brother kittens. I would let Draco into the room to introduce him to now known as Harry Potter and play together. Moon was Draco. Moon is Draco, and Farrell was Harry. And then because I now had 2 cats, I was like, okay, you're no longer Moon, but you're bullying Harry, because when I first introduced them together, he just kept attacking Harry, like trying to show him who's boss, and I'll show you some clips of that too. Pick on someone your own size. And that big one, Draco. The names are Draco and Harry. Look what he does. I don't know, you know, I know this is hard to watch, but I need to know what the fuck this is. He's like an evil older brother. He's giving me like abusive vibes. Look at him, look at that little fucker. Good boy, good girl. At this point, I think you're better off with the Danes. Come on, let's go say hi to the Great Danes. Good boy, good boy. Angel girl. Good boy. No, angel girl. You better not. Your paws would squish him. Back off. At this point, I feel like I'm making the situation so much worse. He's part of the family. Like I wasn't busy before. We got 7-month-old Great Danes, 1 in heat, kitten from the wild, a new adopted member, which is the other kitten, who I have not had any time to spend with, so he kind of hates me. His first day of school today. Look at him. He sits like, please give him to me, and then starts licking his lips. Ah! Wanted to be accepted, and Draco, to my opinion, did not like him at all. So I was like, okay, we're gonna finalize these names. It's only been less than a week since we've had you guys. You're Harry because you're Harry. Like, he's literally Harry. But I'm gonna AKA Harry Potter. And you're Draco because you're being a jackass. Like, stop being a bully. And he kind of gives me Draco vibes. And it's so funny because he's like nothing compared to Draco Malfoy now. He's like the sweetest. So they kind of just hung out. Every day I would open the door and Draco would come dashing in to go beat up Harry. Hey! Harry. And at first I'm like, this is not good. They're not getting along. But like, Sky wanted nothing to do with Draco. So if this is how he's going to interact, great. And eventually Harry's going to grow up, right? So I continue to let them under my supervision. Oh, hi, sugar. You scared me. I heard you crying. Ah. Harry? You wonder why he whoops your ass. It's going on a week and he still won't stop. And then he goes after him. You would think if you were being abused, you would stop. Worth it. And every day Harry got stronger and stronger and bigger, and he just did not care how much he was getting beaten up. He wanted Draco. He would eventually cry for Draco and spat out the door, and Draco would be under the door hitting him with his little paws like, let me in, and they both so badly wanted to play together. He gets close. Ow! It's not the armpit. That shit hurts. Ow!
missing out on some prime toy play.
Wait a second. Stop. You freak. You're a little freak.
Are you excited? Oh, sugar. Sweetie. I could call Harry by his name, Harry, and he'd come running off from the bed. And if I tried to call Draco, not really. Sky, not really. But when I would say Harry, he was the only animal that eventually, within a few weeks, trained to come to his name. He learned so quickly. From being a feral cat, within weeks, he was picking up things so quickly, and he was starting to whoop ass. He was starting to whoop Draco's ass. He was not afraid of the dogs. I would take him out, and he looked the dog straight in the face. And mind you, these dogs are massive compared to him, and it did not bother him at all.
Be nice, Angel. Look at a little tail. Ah, you better not. Your paws are too hairy. I mean, heavy. Hey, you're too big to be playing like that with her. Harry, you better. Harry, you better stop picking fights. Little feet. Ah! Oh, they're getting closer. Good girl. Dickie, I can't stand you.
And so I think after the first 4 weeks, I started opening up the door and letting him explore, but he was still so little, so I was always watching.
It's okay.
There's worms all over it. Woohoo! Finally freedom! Freedom! He's been locked up since he had worms, so he's excited.
Sky here is my oldest cat. She does not like any of the animals. Could care less that they exist. Can't tell you that she liked Harry. She didn't. Harry always stole her food, but he did encourage her to eat more, which is funny. And she'd always hiss at Harry, and Harry'd always kind of just, you know, bother her a little bit, but like at a distance, like, okay, I know you're the boss, but when you're not looking, I'm gonna eat your food. That was Harry. So no, Sky does not like any of my animals. It's nothing to take seriously. It's just she's an old lady. The only person she likes is her family. Weeks goes by, and I'm telling you, Harry was the most amazing cat ever. Harry was amazing, you guys.
Oh, beautiful.
As Harry grew, our bond grew. He was a snuggle bug. He snuggled everything and everyone. I have videos and pictures of him snuggling these big old Great Danes, and they can get right in his face and he wouldn't scurry or run away. And it was starting to become the holiday season, so he loved the decorations. He loved to play with his brother Draco. He loved learning from Draco. Him and Draco were like this. He would snuggle with Angel. He was really close with Ghost, and you would see them snuggling, balled up in a like all the time. He loved my daughters, definitely Addie, because Addie knew that that was my baby. And it was, in a way, her baby. She loved to scoop Harry up and give him to me. I loved to be picked up. Mind you, what did I say? I wanted a cat that would let me pick him up, and this cat would just let me pick him up. I will show you videos and TikToks of me just having him in my hand and he just like never moved. He just loved it. And as he grew, his love for treats and love for food, he just loved food. My God. Oh, good job. And he loved to eat the dog's food during the morning. I'd feed the dogs and he'd be up there like little paws eating the dog food and the dogs would just look at him like whatever. He was just fearless. He was brave. He loved, anytime I opened the door, they listened to the birds. And I would see his mom every once in a while just wandering about. And I was like, oh my God, your mom looks just like you. It's so crazy. So I got him at 5 weeks. I only had him, he died at 7 months, 1 week, and 2 days. But those 6 months were the happiest times of my life. Harry was just so funny and spunky. He loved toys. He loved treats. He's just such a wacky cat. And he also went through like an awkward stage. He had a big ass body, a tiny little head, big tail, and his fluff was really coming in. But eventually that awkward stage turned into regal. Whenever he'd sit, his paws was crossed and his head was held high and he'd look you straight into the eye. Like he was just such a handsome cat. He loved whenever I took baths, he would go around the corner and play with the water, splash the water. He would, whenever I did my hair, play with the cord. I would literally blow dry my hair and I would straighten it for an hour and he would stay there and just play and bat. He had so much energy and so much love for food that he was living his best life. He was super happy. And I was super happy to have him. He was my cat, He is now the size of Draco and he rules this house. He was the king. Everybody knew that he was the favorite. He was my baby and he has not changed no matter how big he got. He didn't change, he was still mine. I'm gonna tell you how it happened and then I'm gonna take a couple steps back and tell you what I now regret. So got him fixed at week 5. 7 months. He's 7 months now. It's springtime. Everything was good. Started noticing that he was acting a little strange. He was sleeping a lot more. And I just assumed, again, my ignorance, I assumed he's getting older. He's adapting to everybody else's schedule. We're all kind of chill people. And the dogs take big naps. He likes to snuggle with the dogs. Draco takes long naps. Sky takes long naps. Now he's taking long naps. I'm like, oh, I thought kittens stayed kittens a little longer. Again, I got 2 kids. I have 4 other animals. I have a whole job. My schedule is so ridiculous that I wasn't paying attention. Hey guys, it's been about 6 days. Today's the anniversary of him getting sick. Isn't it like us to, beat ourselves up? It's not that I wasn't paying attention. When his health started to really decline, I had just gotten out of surgery for my nose. I got the surgery done so I can breathe better because I was allergic to cats and dogs. I was separated from my animals for about 2 weeks, and that 2 week is when he was actually really declining quickly. I would have most certainly noticed something earlier had I not been separated. But he was fine. He was fine. Everything was fine. 2 days before he died, I opened the door. Every morning I let the dogs out, I feed them, and then I open the door to the cats. So like I said, I have a morning routine. It's actually kind of an hour long. After dropping my daughter off at school, I come home, let the dogs out, prepare the dogs' meals. The cats are meowing at the door. I open the basement door, the cats come out. And like I said, they don't get fed until dinner time when it comes to the wet food. But they get fed dry all day long. But in between, I like to give them treats because they like to hang around the kitchen for their treats. Oh, sorry, my battery died. So I guess we're doing it from over here. So February 27th, I start my morning routine. I come home, I let the dogs out to go potty, and I immediately go to the basement door and I open the door and the cats usually run out and they go exploring, go doing their thing. I make the dogs their breakfast. And I just kind of do that until I go to the gym. Well, I open the door and Draco comes running out. I'm like, Harry, where are you? come on, Harry, let's go. And he didn't come. So that's weird. Okay. I walk downstairs and I see Harry laying there. And he's just laying there. I'm like, Harry, come on. Like, come upstairs, you know? You want a snack? But, you know, the dogs are pawing at the door and I'm like, all right, well, whenever you're ready. I go upstairs and, you know, Sky's in the kitchen, Draco's in the kitchen, the dogs are ready to be fed, feed the dogs, take out the treats, and he misses his treats. Didn't think anything of it. Eventually he comes upstairs after a few hours. It's like 3 o'clock, so I guess it's after many hours. You know, I kind of see him just kind of walking around. He's just doing a little bit more sluggy, you know. I decide to feed them some tuna in a can. They like treats, so it's either this one treat that I give them or it's a can of tuna. He loves tuna. He loves sardines. So I scoop up a big thing of tuna for him and he goes straight at it, like starts eating it. And I'm like, okay, appetite's back. He goes over, he eats his sister's tuna, he eats his brother's tuna, and then he takes off. My little fat boy Harry is happy and pleased. I go about my day, we go out and do some things. I'm trying to work on this picture for my daughter's school, for her school pictures. I'm trying to find a specific picture and I can't find it. So I go to the basement and he follows me down to the basement. And I'm digging through the pictures. I'm like, what the heck is going on? I go back upstairs. I'm still looking for this picture. I come back downstairs and there's Harry still at the door to the basement. And I'm just like, oh, hey, Harry. I continue to look for this picture. I think I went up and down like 3 times and Harry didn't move. And it had been hours at this point. And I'm like, Harry, what's going on, buddy? Like, you're taking a long nap. Did you like that tuna? Because he ate all the tuna. So again, I go upstairs, finally find the picture, finally do my little arts and craft thing that I'm trying to fucking do. And then it's time to take my daughter to whatever she was going to. And I go there for a few hours and then I come back and it's mad rush to dinner. Okay, the dogs are hungry, all 3 cats are hungry, time to feed them. So that's my routine. I come home and around 7:30 I start to make the food for the cats. And I start feeding the cats and I'm like, come on, time to eat. Draco comes running, Sky comes running. Harry, where's Harry? That's weird. Harry, your food, time to come eat. I go downstairs and I'm like, Harry, and he's right there at the foot of the stairs, like he was trying to come upstairs. And I'm like, Harry, what's wrong? Okay, what's wrong, Harry? It's time to eat. Like, why aren't you upstairs? And he starts to go, and I was like, oh crap, what's going on? And then vomits. It's like he was able to finally release whatever was bothering him because mommy was there. And he vomits these huge things of undigested tuna. And so I start Googling, what the tuna? I give you tuna all the time, like since when? And so I was like, well, maybe you ate too much tuna because you did eat an entire can of tuna. So I call the vet and I'm like, hey, my cat's really like lethargic, he's not moving. I need to get him in. And like, do you have availability right now? And she's like, we are literally 10 minutes to close. What happened? And I was like, he's not feeling good at all. He just vomited tuna, which is weird because is that a bad thing? She's like, no, most food has tuna. Tuna should be pretty good. I was like, but he did eat the whole can and he's not really doing any, he's not moving. He's just been sitting here for hours, same spot. He's been sitting here for hours. And she's like, well, you can take him to urgent care or you can, you know, take him in, bring him in tomorrow if he still feels sick. And so as I'm talking to the lady, he gets up and he walks to the bathroom. And I'm like, oh, never mind. This is the most movement I've seen him do in the last few hours. I think he's fine. I think he just needed to throw it up. And she's like, yeah, that's probably what it is. Probably just a stomach bug or something. Worst case scenario, if it gets worse tomorrow, call us and we'll get you in. Make sure he has his food, make sure he has his water, had a bathroom. I go upstairs, tend to the animals, tend to my daughters, start getting ready for bed. And, you know, it's nighttime, so time to put them in the basement and go to sleep. February 28th, start the routine all over again. I wake up, take my daughter to school, come home, let the dogs out, open the door, and Draco comes running. For the second day, where's Harry? I was like, Harry, Harry. And you know, the dogs like, I sometimes don't close the front door, and so my dogs come bashing in. So the chaos, everything is chaotic. There's Sky, there's Draco being extra. He's not extra, but he was being extra. He was not afraid of the dogs when they came running in. You know, he went right through them, and I'm putting on, you know, taking off the collars of the dogs, and Draco goes right up on this tree that I bought him, and he's looking at me, and he's trying to get my attention. And I'm recording my day-to-day activity because I was trying to show people on my channel, Talisa's 2 Days on TikTok. I was trying to show you guys the day in the life, or the morning routine, having 5 animals. So I was filming this for my channel, and I had the camera, and he's trying to get in front of the camera, trying to get in front of me, and I'm like, Draco, like, what's up, Draco? You never this peppy. Like, and I'm like, okay, and I'm still talking to the camera and talking about my morning routine with the dogs. I'm like, and now I'm gonna go ahead and feed the dogs. So I'm grabbing the bowls, and Draco is in my face. He's in my face. Finally, that is just too unreal for me. Like, it's just really weird if Draco is any kind of like, attention, give me attention. So I'm like, where's Harry? And then I remembered him being sick earlier. So I put the shit down, and I'm like, take me to Harry. What's going on? He runs down to the basement, and my heart starts to flutter like something's wrong. So I run down, and I'm like, what, Draco? I turn on the light, and there's Harry. Same spot all day yesterday, the same spot. And I'm like, what's wrong, Harry? So I go over to him, and I look at him, and he's not looking too good. Dogs are acting crazy. They're already fighting upstairs. So I'm like, all right, I'll be right back. I go up there, try to get them settled, like calm down. I grab my phone, and I come back, and I'm like, guys, something's not looking right with Harry. I go downstairs, set up the phone. So you guys kind of got a little bit of what was going on. And I was like, Draco, what's going on with your brother? And Harry just looks awful. He can't lift his head. He looks extremely weak. And I'm like, something is definitely not right if you don't want your breakfast for the 2nd day. So I pick up the phone, I call, I was like, hi, yeah, I need him to be seen right now, like right now. Like I'm at this point, my heart is fluttering. He looks awful. And she's like, okay, I can see you at 11:30, which was like in an hour and a half. And I was like, I'll take it. All right, I'll see you in 11:30. At this point, I'm thinking maybe not record the day in the life, because like, this is not a normal day in the life. This is different. But part of me is like, you know, record it, because sometimes your days will get interrupted, right? So I was like, Harry, you know, hold still. Like, we're gonna go get you seen. I'm gonna go get the dogs taken care of. I'm gonna go get dressed. In an hour and a half, we're going straight to the hospital, and we're gonna get this shit figured out. And I go get dressed, get everything gathered for Harry's visit. Get to the vet appointment, and the vet comes in, and she starts looking. She looks in his ears, she looks at his face, she's like, his nose looks a little white, and then she opens up his mouth, and he was like Snow White. His gums were white, and they both go, oh. And they look at each other, and I'm like, oh, what? What's oh? What? And then my heart starts to race fast. I'm like, what happened? What happened? What? I literally said, what happened? What happened? What's going on? And she's just like, we need to do some tests, and we need to do them now. He has, you see these gums? They're not supposed to be that white. You see his nose? It's bad, and that can be anemia. I was like, what's anemia? What does that mean? And she's like, you know, let's just go take him in, do some blood. Are you okay with us doing blood? I was like, sure, do as much as you have to. Just tell me what's going on. So they immediately scoop him up and take him away. Now, what the fuck is happening? Now, I thought it was just a stomach ache. So now my heart is really going now. I'm really starting to panic. So they come back in, and they give him to me, and they're like, okay, well, we'll let you know what the results say. I think it was about 20 minutes of me and Harry in the room, and I'm like, Harry, what's up, buddy? What's wrong? He's not looking at me. He's not. I gave him a few kisses, and I said, what's wrong, Harry? What did you eat? Like, what was in your stomach? So they took x-rays to see if maybe he had eaten anything. She comes back in, and she says, we have some bad news. Harry needs to go to a bigger vet medical center, like now. And I was like, what's going on? She's like, he's anemic. You see his yellow eyes? And they were like, at this point, it was like the first time I was looking at him with clear light. I'm like, yeah, I thought they were always like that. She's like, they're really, really yellow. His gums are really white. His nose is really white. He's lethargic. He's been vomiting. And we just got his blood cell count back. He's supposed to be at a 35. He's at a 6%. You need to go straight from here to Cleveland, Ohio. It's like an hour plus away. And she's like, it's up to you how fast you get there, but that's where he can get his blood transfusion. I'm like, blood transfusion. Wait, what is going on? She's like, you need to go now. My kids are at school. I have 2 dogs locked up. I'm supposed to be rushing to a different state because you guys don't have the fucking facility to do it here. Like, a lot of things are going through my mind. Oh, and on top of that, let me go get your bill. So sign over a $400 check for them to tell me my cat is in critical condition. I get home, I literally go straight, like I grabbed the kennel because I wanted him to have something to travel in. I literally was home for 5 minutes, get in a car, and I take off. Getting worse by the second. He's sitting right in front of me, and I just have my hand in there. I'm like, Harry, hold on. It's gonna be okay, Harry. You're gonna be fine. I don't care how expensive it is. Mind you, like I said, I've done this before. $5 grand to save my cat. I don't care what the price is. You're gonna be fine, Harry. You're gonna be fine. And he's just like, yeah. He did say it like one time, and I just kind of touched his nose, but there's like a little hole. And he just kind of slept the entire way. He wasn't really moving at all. I pull up in there and he's like, eyes open, mouth open. And I'm like, Harry. And I just pulled, it's like, Harry! And I slapped the cage and he kind of looked up at me and I was like, don't scare me like that. We just got here. Like, hold on. And so like my heart is really racing. I take him out. And I run into the emergency room and they're like, for Harry Potter? I was like, yes. And they're like, yeah, we just got the call. All right. And then the lady comes rushing out. She grabs him and she's like, you know, I'll let you know how things go. You can wait in the waiting room, and takes off. Yeah. I'm just thinking they're going to do some testing. They're going to give him some IV. They're going to start on his blood transfusion and everything's going to be okay. Take me to the back. They explain that, you know, they need to get my information for payment. Within like 15 minutes, the vet lady comes out and she says, okay, so we got the test results back from your vet. Looks like he's anemic. It looks like he needs a blood transfusion. It's gonna cost about $3,000 to get it started. And I was like, okay, fine, $3,000, get it started. All right, well, we'll bill you and then it'll be a few hours before I know anything and we'll, you know, just inform you. I was like, okay, sounds good. Mind you, I'm still filming for you guys. I'm still trying to keep up. And now things are getting really scary. So just go do what you have to do. And everything's happening so fast. And then I get a call, started on his transfusion. We sent out his blood to the lab. His blood is very thin. So more likely it's a blood cell issue. He is at a 5% and he was supposed to be at a 40 at his age. He doesn't have this disease for cats. He doesn't have leukemia. His blood cells, you know, he's making blood cells, so everything's okay. He's looking a little better now that we gave him some fluid. So we're gonna start on the blood transfusion in a little bit. By the time we know anything more, it's gonna be a long time. So we understand you live far away. Why don't you go home and we'll call you with an update after we get his blood transfusion started. I gotta go get my kids from school. So I make it back just in time to pick up my kids, let them know what's going on with Harry, and we begin the nighttime routine. I get a call and they're like, hey, just wanna let you know we did the blood transfusion. He looks good. I have to leave for the night. But another doctor's gonna come in and take over. He is responding well. He is even eating a little bit of food, but again, I'm still waiting on those test results. No call is a good call, and we will inform you on what's going on tomorrow. So, you know, all thumbs up, everything is going fine. And I was like, okay, thank you so much. Hang up, I can sleep decently. I'm still fucking worried, but I can sleep decently. So Draco, not in the basement. I didn't lock him because I wanted him up, and he came on my bed for some reason. He just jumped on my bed and started snuggling me. Draco doesn't do that. He doesn't snuggle me, but it was like, he was like, well, Mom, Draco, you know, Harry's not here, so let me take over. And it was kind of nice. It was kind of nice because I was like, you know, not in a good mood. Good morning. I wake up. All right, excited to hear the update. 11:15 or so, I get a call, and I remember I jumped to the phone. I wanted to hear. I just jumped to the phone and I pick it up, and immediately her tone was negative. Immediately she said, Talisa, I got some bad news for you. And I'm thinking she's gonna say something like he has a disorder. he has a disease or something. So here's the plan, or here's his new diet, here's new medication, here's how expensive it's gonna be. No, she says, "Hi, Talisa, I have some bad news for you. Harry passed." I'm like, what? Wait, what? We've been doing CPR on him for the last 15 minutes. Would you like us to continue? A couple more rounds. I was like, yes, 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 continue. What are you doing? Why are you stopping? And she's like, continue, guys. Like, she's talking to somebody. She's like, I will call you back. And so she hangs up. And I'm like, oh God, no. This is not supposed to happen. This is not wait, what the fuck? What? It seemed so weird. It didn't seem right. It seemed very bizarre. Like, very surreal. And I'm like, God, come on, really? He's 7 months old. This is not how it's supposed to work. Like, let's go. Come on, wake up, Harry. I'm like, wake up. I'm praying so hard. And I'm like, stay calm. It hasn't happened yet. He's not dead yet. He can wake up. They're gonna do CPR again and they're gonna wake him up. That 5 minutes seemed like eternity, right? She calls back and she's like, I tried a couple more times. He's gone, Talisa. I'm so sorry. He woke up this morning. He looked good. He was eating. He ate a lot. He was playing with the toys. He is such an adorable little boy. And I mean, my staff are watching him, and they said he just keeled over and died. He just dropped dead right there. 1 minute he was fine and playing. The next he just dropped dead. When would you like to come see him? I would like for you to see him now while he's still him. And I was like, I'm an hour plus away. By the time I get there. This isn't real to me. It wasn't real. I forgot she was even on the phone. She's like, are you coming? And I was like, yeah. She's like, I'm so sorry. I was like, thank you. And I hang up and I just start to scream. I hate people who record things, you know, but I needed someone to know my pain. I needed to document, because I know down the road when I'm somewhat healed, someone's gonna want to see that it's okay to react like that. So I pick up my phone, because mind you, I've been keeping you guys updated. Y'all were praying for Harry, and I just scream and I just cry and I am just beside myself. This doesn't seem real. And I'm like trying to get downstairs, get my clothes on and prepare for this long drive. At the same time, I'm trying to take in what happened. At the same time, I'm telling myself, go, because he's gonna get cold, he's gonna get hard. You wanna go while he's still soft, and you can tell him you didn't even get to say goodbye. They didn't even let you say goodbye. They just took him from you. Had I known that you were gonna die, I would have said goodbye, but I really thought you weren't gonna die. Like, I'm pissed. I have so many emotions. I'm blaming them. I paid you $4 grand for what? What the fuck did you do? Like, what did you do? Your job is to save him. Like, I'm thinking of all these things that I want to say when I get there. Like, I paid you $3,500. What the fuck did you do besides kill my cat? I call my friend and I say, I can't drive like this. Can you come drive me? And they drive me there. That hour plus was just so bizarre. And then everything starts to flood back in. How could you not know he was anemic? How could you not have seen the signs? What were the signs? And I'm Googling signs of anemia. Lethargic, tired, sleeping a lot. Well, yeah, but I thought it's just because he was a cat. Yellow eyes. Draco has yellow eyes, but Harry's eyes were really yellow. Remember that night he was on, like literally 6 days ago, he was on your lap. You guys were watching his show and he looked at you. Remember how yellow his eyes were? Remember when you thought in your head, God, your eyes are really yellow. Stupid. I didn't know. Vomiting. Remember when he vomited and you called the vet? And you said, well, now that he vomited, he's standing, so maybe he's okay. Vomiting. Anemic. Remember when he's not rushing to eat anymore, he's not eating his food? Lack of appetite. signs. Oh, yeah, last week when he was crying to come in your room, you opened the door, he came in your room, he was crying to leave the room, you opened the door, he left the room, he cried again, sitting outside my door to come back in, and you said, Harry, what's up with you, buddy? You can't make up your mind. Why do you keep coming in and out, silly boy? Trying to get your attention. Remember him constantly snuggling you and Adeline and anyone who would snuggle him, and he just slept for hours and hours and hours and hours. And he just seemed kind of weak. Or he'd go off to the corner. Draco too. Draco kind of mirrored him for weeks, because Draco probably knew he was dying. And cats, they, you know, they suffer in silence, but they understand each other. And he was just sleeping off in the corner. It wasn't him growing up, you idiot. That was him being tired, because he was slowly deteriorating. He was deteriorating probably for months. This is all just kind of going in my head. Like, the fuck could you fucking have missed all the signs? You're supposed to be his mother. You missed everything because you're too busy. Pulled in there. We go into the room. We wait. And we wait. They refund us $150. And they say, do you want a print of his little foot? I remember saying I didn't want anything. But I said yes to the prints for my daughter's sake. And they made me these cute little prints. They're so cute. He's a big boy. It's my baby. 7 months old. Look at his paw. They bring his box. It just hit me all over again. It just hit me. But before they bring his box in, the vet comes in and she tells me what happened. And I said, what happened? How could he be eating and playing and then all of a sudden just keel over and die? What happened? And she said, more likely it was a blood clot. And it's a disease that comes from fleas. He's been at my house. Yeah, he had flea shit on him, but I cleaned that out. I washed him. So she's like, you know, these wild cats, they can get diseases from their parents. They can be covered in fleas, and even though you clean them off, the flea already got to his bloodstream. And, you know, he was probably always anemic. And, you know, you took care of him. If the blood transfusion doesn't work, then it's not going to help, you know. So to my understanding, even though he was full of life and he was silly and he was funny and he was growing and he was thriving, he still had a disease and he was still gonna die. And I was like, I want to know exactly what happened to him, like exactly. She's like, that's gonna cost you another $500, and I figured it wouldn't even matter. We have to dice him open, we have to get into his bone marrow, all these things you're gonna have to pay for, and he's already in that box right there. So I just didn't want to charge you anymore, and I'm so sorry. But in my head, I'm thinking, you did this. You killed him. Denial and blaming, these are all signs of grief. And I was really upset. I was still in denial. She left. It took me a little while to stand up. I stood up and I opened the box and I see his body and I see Harry, and I just start telling him how sorry I am. And I told him, and I'm so mad because I'm like, I'm here, Harry, I'm sorry. Had I known, I would have said sorry. I would have said I loved you before. Like, they just took you. And I didn't get a chance. I didn't get a chance to say goodbye. He was still soft and he was wrapped in a cute little blanket. I wanted to get the fuck out of there, so I just put the top back on. My friends like, let's just go. And I go, but before I left, I said, the next time someone comes in here with a critical condition animal, let them say their goodbyes, even though I know you don't want to stress them out. I know you don't want them to feel like it's over, and most of the time the animals, they make it and they come out and everything's fine, but let the fucking owner say goodbye before you take their animal from them. Because to you, it's just another dead animal. But to them, it's their animals. That's their family member. Why didn't they turn around and just say, why don't you say goodbye, let him know everything's gonna be okay and you'll see him again? I would have been like, all right, open it up. I love you, Harry, I'll see you soon. They're gonna take care of you. I love you, you're gonna be fine. Mommy's gonna pay whatever it costs, you're gonna be okay. You know, and then they could have taken him, but no, they just took him out of my hands and they took him away. And 24 hours later, he's dead. Not even 24 hours later, he's dead. Because they pushed him and they pushed him and they took so much blood, and I know I'm trying not to blame them because vets, they do the best they can, but at the end of the day, it's just another dead animal. I don't think they will ever truly understand. Get home and I set him on the table and I'm just like, you're home, Harry, and I just lose it again. I put him on the floor and I let the cat see him. I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here, and you guys can just enjoy these cute little moments with my beautiful Harry. I love him so much. It's been a week. It's been difficult, but me and my family are getting through it little by little. I'm here for you if you ever felt what I felt. And yeah, love your fur babies, and rest in peace, Harry.
Harry. I love you. You're so cute.
Yeah, it was awesome. Come on. Come on. He's right there, you guys. He's right there. It's literally Harry. Oh my goodness.